हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम देखेंगे मेथड व्हेन एनी एंड व्हेन ऑल। सो लेट्स फर्स्ट स्टार्ट विथ व्हेन एनी मेथड. So it is a part of task class. It is an abstract method, so we have to call it like this. And what it basically accept multiple tasks that we want to keep an eye on. So let's say we have initiated multiple tasks, let's say task 1, task 2 and task 3, and so on. So something like that. And what it basically returns is it returns task of the of type task of type whatever is the first task that is returned. Okay, so when any method return whichever task completes its execution first, so we have provided it with multiple tasks and it is basically keeping an eye on all of those tasks, and one of the tasks gets completes its execution first, right? So let's say task 2 completes its execution first, so it will return us task of task 2, which is return type of task 2. So this is the return type. So just to keep in mind, what it will cause is, let's say if we want to fetch the result of the task whichever gets executed first, so we have to use the await twice. So first await is to get result of this task, which is from WhenAll method, and second await to get the result from this task, which is return of task 2. And then we are okay with the result. Let's say completed task is the name of the parameter. Then what we can do is we can just await completed task twice, and it we will get the result out of it. So as I have said, when any returns us the first task that get completed and continue with the further execution. So we will see its example. So here I have wrote two tasks. First task is dealing for 2 seconds and returning us 2, while second task is dealing for 1 second and returning us the 1. And what we have did is we have called WhenAny method and we have passed both tasks to it. If you see its input parameters, it is parameters of type array. So basically we can pass multiple tasks to it and it returns task of type int, because both of our tasks of are of type task int method. So when we await it for first, it returns us the first task that gets completed. In this case, task 2 will get completed first. So we will have completed task pointing to task 2. And in order to get the result out of this task 2, we again have to use await operator on that completed task. And if we run this code now, what we will see is this thing. Task complete task is returning 1, as it is what expected, right? Because 1 second will happen before another second. So yeah, that's the example of task.any. Sorry, when any. Another method that is important here is task.WhenAll. So dot WhenAll. It it also accept multiple parameters of type task. So let's say task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on. And what it returns, it basically returns int task of array of type object. So task of type object, or let's say of type t, task of type t array. Okay. So this is what it returns. So let's say we have passed all the tasks which are of task of type int, then it will return us task of type int array, and we can fetch all the result in form of array using just one await operator, which will give us result as t of array of any type. So that is how when all works. So what we will do is we will update our code. So instead of when any, I will be writing when all. Now it will shows the error that if you see here, return type is task of type int, as both of our tasks are returning int type of task. So instead of this, we have to store it in int of array. Now, in order to print what is the execution, I will use another lock. So what we can use, we can just join the result and let's print it. So instead of completed task is returning, instead of this, we will be doing String.Join, and we will be joining it with, let's say, comma, and another will be completed task. And hopefully what we are expecting is we will be getting array of 2 and 1. Okay, so let's start the previous execution first and let's start this one. So if you see now, this is what we are expecting and this is what we have got. It has waited for all the tasks to be completed and then it has returned us a result. So what is the key difference? So key difference is WhenAny completes when any of the provided task gets complete, while WhenAll completes when all of the provided task gets complete. Use cases can be when we want to proceed as soon as the first task finishes, while WhenAll is like WhenAll we can use it like whenever we want to wait for all tasks to be finished. So if we want to use these examples in if we want to see how we can implement this WhenAny and WhenAll in our previous example of breakfast, so we will do that. Okay, so let's go to our previous example. I have updated this code a bit, in which what I did is we started the task, various task, egg task, bacon task, toast task, and I have passed it to list of task. I have created a list of task from it, which I have called as breakfast task. And now, while I am checking if I have any task running by checking its count, if it is greater than 0, then I am getting the finished task using method WhenAny and passing it that parameter. As soon as I get any task completed, then I check what type of task gets completed. So is it egg task, bacon task, toast task, and I basically write that toasts are ready and all that stuff. Then I wait for that task. I await for that task to just get the result out of it, and I remove that task from the finished task list. I mean, I remove the finished task from the breakfast task list and I continue using the while. So what it will do is it will change our execution. Okay, so I will just show you the images of previous execution what we have done and now what we are doing. So previously what is happening is we are waiting for eggs first and then we are basically waiting for bacon, right? So this is the image from previous implementation which we have in which we have used async and await. We started frying egg, we started frying bacon, and after, I mean, the way we have wrote the code is we are first expecting to be eggs to be completed and then we are expecting for bacon to be completed, but that not necessarily the case, right? It is a possibility that bacon gets completed first before eggs and we need to put that on the plate. So in that case, when we use WhenAny, it will basically be executing it, we will be serving anything that gets completed first. So here we pour coffee, we fry egg, we fry bacon, we toast bread, and we pour juice. So it's just like WhenAny method, we don't have to await sequentially, we can check whichever task gets executed first and we can use that result for further execution. And so it is the implementation that I have showed you here. And that's it for it. In the next video, we will be studying the system aggregate exception. So yeah, thank you.